If you can't go to Sicily, the next best thing is to taste Sicily. And what better way to taste Sicily than with a really rich, fragrant fish stew? Welcome to Actually Italian. I'm Sal, and I've been living in Italy for years. So now I want to teach you how to make recipes that an actual Italian would cook for themselves. Today we're going to be making this fish stew, and this really represents regional Italian cuisine because fish stew is eaten all over Italy, and every region has its own way of doing things. This specific recipe is from Sicily. However, even in Sicily, it's going to vary between areas. It's going to vary from house to house even. This is the way I've had it around Trapani that I think is the best way to eat it. And it's got a secret ingredient too, which really brings the whole thing together. The most important ingredient is the freshness of the fish. It does not matter what kind of fish that you use, as long as it's local to you and it's as fresh as it can be. I don't live in Sicily. I live up in northern Italy, up by the Alps. So this is what I had available at my fishmonger today. So this is what I'm using. I've got some mussels, fresh mussels. I've got some scampi here, or prawns. A monkfish tail, which this is going to be very important. I'll explain why later. I've got some shrimp here, just regular shrimp. You can get frozen. I've got some cleaned calamari. I have my fishmonger clean the calamari for me. Again, you can get this frozen, and frozen calamari works very well. This is the other key here. I've got some harbor pollock here. In the northern Adriatic, this is very common. I was looking for gurnard or sea robin because it's really good in a fish stock, but they didn't have any. So this was nice and fresh. You can see by the eyes there, they're nice and clear. The skin is nice and shiny. The point is really just to use what's going to be local to you and available. If you get good grouper, use grouper. If you're in an area where you're on the coast and you get access to tons of different fish, whatever is your preference is what you should go with. And even if you're landlocked, again, you can get these frozen shrimp and calamari and use trout, use salmon, use walleye, whatever it is that's closest to you and is going to be really fresh is the most important thing. The order that we make it is important because, again, we want to layer up the flavors. So let's hop right over to the stove and we'll just get started with the cooking. First layer of flavor is I'm going to use these shrimp shells here. If you've seen my video on the shrimp and artichoke pasta, then you know how I always get shrimp with the shell on because I like to cook them like this to make kind of a base for the broth. So the very first thing I'm going to do with a little bit of olive oil is put this over medium heat, and I'm just going to cook these shells for a couple of minutes. What's going to happen is it's going to make like a little foundation. Little brown bits are going to kind of cook to the bottom, and then when I put the rest of the ingredients in, we'll take it up, and it'll actually really make a big difference in the broth. These shells have been toasting here for about 3 minutes. You can see they're pretty well cooked. What's probably harder to see is that there's like a film that kind of got left on the bottom. So right away we want to get the onions in and fennel. That's the key to this being Sicilian. If you can't get fennel or you just don't really like it, then you can use celery. That's also very traditional in Sicilian cooking in general, but also in this recipe. Some people don't use fennel, some people use celery. So I just want to quickly saute it and kind of soften it all and bring up some of these bits on the bottom. I think you can probably see it better now, but that's all from the shrimp shell, so we want to kind of deglaze that. So we just need to cook this for a few minutes. Another thing I'm going to add here are some chopped up pieces of parsley stem. I don't like throwing stuff away, so I like to find ways to use it. And this is a good way to use those stems that you wouldn't normally use. You would just usually just throw them away. I always put them in, when I make stocks, I put them in that. And in this broth, it's going to add a lot of flavor. And then we'll add the fresh leaves later to kind of give it a brightness. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in just to kind of get them sweating. I've got the recipe that you can print out. There's a link to that in the description below. Plus, I'll actually add a link to that shrimp and artichoke pasta down there too. Okay, we're gonna let this cook for about another 3 or 4 minutes, just until everything's soft. You can see that the onions and the fennel are starting to take on some color now, but we don't want them to get too much darker than that, so I'm gonna get going with everything else. We're gonna add some sliced garlic. You can use crushed garlic, whatever way you wanna put it in there. And we don't need to cook this long, literally just a few seconds until we can smell it. When you smell that garlic, then it's ready to go. Next up is some white wine. We want to evaporate this wine and get all the alcohol out. This wine is going to add a nice acidity that you really need with fish. You might even find that they use vinegar in some Sicilian recipes too. But I do like using wine because I like the fruitiness of it too. Okay, the alcohol is pretty much evaporated, so I'm going to add some tomato puree. Use the best you can get. Look how red that is. That's how you know that this is going to be deep and rich. But this is a soup, so we don't want it to be too thick. So we're adding a little bit of water there too. In fact, I need a little bit more water. That's still a little bit too thick. The fish is going to release some water when I cook it, but not that much. And that's about the texture that we're looking for, like a very loose sauce. I'm going to add some basil leaves, just whole. And here's the secret ingredient. This is what's going to really make this Sicilian, is just a little dash, like a pinch of cinnamon. That's it. It's going to be one of those things where you can taste it in there, but you can't quite figure out what it is. You wouldn't guess that it's cinnamon. And that's very, very traditional, especially in recipes in the western part of Sicily. Now, here's the next crucial thing. I've got the calamari that I sliced up. I'm going to put it in now, because calamari is one of those things where it either cooks for 30 seconds or it cooks for 30 minutes. Anything in between, and it's going to be rubbery and tough and just not pleasant to eat. The reason I'm adding it now is because this is going to cook for about 30 minutes, and this is going to add another element to the broth that is really going to add a lot of that fresh flavor of the sea. So it's not going to be rubbery and tough because it's going to cook for long enough. Some people add it last because it only takes a couple seconds, but again, I want as much flavor as I can get into this broth. The next thing I'm going to do is add the pollock, and I'm going to add these whole. I'm going to let them cook in here, so that way the bones and the skin and everything can add flavor to the broth. And then I'm going to take them out once they're cooked and take all the meat off, and then later on we'll add that meat back to the soup. That way it's easy to eat and we still get all of the flavor into that sauce. This pollock has given up everything it can give at this point. So I'm going to take these out now. And then we're going to start adding the rest of the fish. We want to go from the longest to cook to the shortest. So now we're going to add that monkfish. I cut this into chunks. And the reason I chose monkfish is because of these bones here. These bones are very high in collagen. So that's going to add another really rich, silky texture to this broth. This is going to take probably about 15 minutes for the monkfish to cook through. I can see that this broth is getting a little bit thick too, so I want to add a little bit of water to keep this from getting too thick. So it's important to keep an eye on this. All right, so we're going to let this cook for another 15 minutes and then we'll be ready to add the rest of the fish. All right, the monkfish is cooked through now. It's still pretty firm, but that's actually part of the characteristic of it. In fact, they call it the poor man's lobster because the texture is somewhat similar to lobster tail. But this is all done now, so I can start adding the rest of the fish. So we're going to go with the prawns here because these take a little bit to cook. The prawns are just about cooked, so now we're going to add the shrimp. These are also going to cook really fast. We don't even have to mix them in because they're going to basically like steam. And then we want the mussels in. The mussels are going to add a lot of broth, a lot of liquid, and salt to this. That's why I haven't even salted it yet. The only thing I've seasoned so far are the onions and the fennel. And that's okay because we want to be able to control the the salt level. We'll let those open up. Basically, when they're open, they're ready. And then the soup is ready. I'm also going to add in some olives and capers there. And then just before serving, we're going to add back the meat from the pollock. We'll check back in a couple of minutes, and I can see some of these are already starting to open. The mussels are open up now, so these are just about ready. I want to check for seasoning now. It needs some salt, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Then I'm going to shut off the heat. I'm going to add that meat from the pollock back in. Some nice fresh parsley. I'm going to give it a stir, and we're going to serve it up. We're just about ready. There's a few things we need to do before I taste it. First, we're going to get some very, very high quality olive oil and give a nice drizzle over the top. This is when you want to use the really good stuff, the unfiltered, the cold pressed, extra, extra, extra virgin. I'll leave a link in the description below for an oil that I would recommend, good Sicilian olive oil. Next up, we need some good crusty bread. Just before serving, I grilled it up and rubbed some garlic over the top of it. That's actually how Italians do their garlic bread. Last thing we need is some wine, because as they say in Sicily, you don't eat fish with water because it'll drown. All right, I'm gonna give it a taste. I wanna start with the calamari. That calamari was really tender, so the total cooking time for this was about 40 minutes. Let me get a little taste of this, this monkfish with the broth. This is one of my favorite fishes. I love monkfish. Wow, that is awesome. This really brings me right back to Sicily. I had a fish stew very similar to this in the area around Trapani, and it tasted almost identical. So it's really one of those things that just makes a memory come right back to life. The flavors in this are just so intense. It's got all of that seafood flavor that you want, and that little bit of cinnamon is really the key to this whole thing. Because I can taste something in there, but I don't go right for cinnamon. The fennel in there gives it a nice fragrant aroma. Now I just have to dunk a little bit of the bread in. If you love fish, there's no way that you're not gonna love this. We built so many layers of flavor in this that it's unreal how good this is. All right, I've gotta keep eating. I can't resist anymore. So I'm gonna have a little bit of wine, and I'll see you in the next video.